Hello, everyone. It is time, once again, for the Commish Chronicle Christmas Special 2.0 with your host and commissioner, Mr. Ninja.
Wow. What an intro. I don't know who that guy was, but hire him for something fun and special. Hey everyone, welcome once again to the Commish Chronicle Week 10 edition. And we're doing something a little fun once again. It is the Commish Chronicle Christmas Special 2.0 for Week 10. And just gotta say, I happen to know the guy up at the North Pole, and I got a little look at everybody's Christmas wish list. I took the top of everybody's Christmas wish list, and that's what we're going to be talking about today in the power rankings. So, without further ado, here we go. In 12th, it is Halifax Highlanders once again. I'm sorry, Halifax Highlanders, but your reign away from 12th was not long. You dipped back down there with 2 losses to Thunder Down Under, and then an emphatic loss to Gritsky's All-Stars. Next 2 weeks, you've got Mr. Ninja Express and Curiosity Killed Jabrincat. 2 tough matchups. See how you do. But I noticed that your Christmas wish list, at the very top, wanted a motivational speaker. And that's because you need somebody to motivate some of your top players to be better than what they're doing. Jason Robertson ring a bell maybe? Just saying, these guys need to be better. Maybe the veteran leadership of snagging Patrick Kane off the free agency. Maybe he'll do it. I don't know. But listen, I know you've got injuries. I know Aiden Hill is doing really well for you. Maybe he's going to come back and do something. But we're going to need to see more, or else you're going to continue to bottom feed on this one. And I'm sorry, but you're the lopsided loss of the week for Week 10. Funny enough, nobody had a big lopsided loss in Week 9. So there's no lopsided loss of the week for Week 9. It's just for Week 10. And once again, I think it's happened a lot. Halifax Highlanders is part of the lopsided loss of the week. We move on to 11th, and it's North Korea, moving up a spot since last week. Had a win 6-5 over Yaz and a tight loss to a really strong Bettman Returns team. One thing about North Korea, they're 9th in the standings with a 2-8 head-to-head record. The fact that they're only 1 spot out of the playoffs, it's a good indicator that North Korea has done a fairly good job at being competitive week to week. They just can't quite get these wins going. But they did manage to get one over Yaz in Week 9, which is commendable. They've got a return of Captain Thick Nick next week, or this week, and then they've got Thunder Down Under coming up the following week for week, whatever that will be, week 12. Just check in here. Perfect. Christmas wish list for North Korea. We've got 2 things actually. It's laser eye surgery and ice packs. I know that you have some injuries. You know, Husso and Ottinger, your 2 key starting goalies, are both out right now. Hopefully they come back soon. Get some ice packs on their hurt feelings and get them back in net. But the laser eye surgery, that's going to be because even when they do come back, they need to be better. North Korea is among the bottom of the league in goalie stats, as well as needing their players to be able to know where the net is, because they're at the bottom of the league in points as well. All like the points-based categories, North Korea bottom dwelling with all of that. So maybe get some laser eye surgery for your team, and we'll see what happens as we move forward. Moving on to 10th. It's our year. It's our year. Staying in 10th. Just barely. You're hanging on by a thread right now. Lost to Mr. Ninja Express and, of course, the juggernaut that is Curiosity Killed Jabrincat. They're winless in 6, 0-4-1 in their last 5. It's not been good for It's Our Year. They got Yaz and then returning Captain Thick Nick. Big matchup against Yaz this week to kind of see if they can separate themselves from the bottom of this league right now. But on their Christmas wish list was a time machine. And the time machine is to go back in time to a time when Kyle Connor's knee was still good. Back to a time at the start of the year when they were 3-1 without McDavid doing well, without Vasilevsky, without Ekblad. All these guys that have come back, and Connor McDavid, who has turned things around, and somehow, some way, It's Our Year has gotten worse since then. So get in that time machine, go back, figure out what it is, then come back, and let's see if you can work your way up the standings. Until then, we've got Yaz in 9th. Yaz, last rank was 8th. So Yaz moving down 1 with a loss to North Korea, and then another loss to return of Captain Thick Nick. 1-4 in their last 5, still sitting 10th in the standings with a 3-7 head-to-head record. Next 2 weeks, like I just said, It's Our Year in 11th right now, and then a strong up-and-coming Messier Guarantee team who is bound to continue to climb. Christmas wish list for Yaz: cloning technology. Because the player that's doing by far the best right now is Austin Matthews. So what they need to do, get some cloning technology of Austin Matthews and teach all the clones of Austin Matthews to play all the positions, and then they won't have any issues. Because right now Yaz is also, similar to North Korea, bottom dweller when it comes to goalie stats and most of the skating stats. So just not very good. Get to cloning, see if Austin Matthews can be better. And we have a matchup of the week. That's right, we're doing something a little bit different. We are nearly at the halfway point of this season. 22 weeks. This is week 11 that we're into now. And a big matchup for these teams that need to start to establish themselves. And it's going to start here with It's Our Year. It's 2 teams on the outside right now, looking in. A win is very much needed by both. I think it's a very big matchup for how the standings are going to play out and how the playoffs could start to play out. But we're going to start looking more at that as opposed to all the just high echelon teams who are playing each other. As we move on to 8th, it's Thunder Down Under. Thunder Down Under, last rank was 9th. So moving up with a win over Halifax Highlanders and a tight loss to the replacements. 8th in the standings for Thunder Down Under. Last 5, 1-3-1. They've lost 1. Next 2 weeks, Bettman returns. Very strong Bettman returns team. And then North Korea. Thunder Down Under needs to get the wins when it comes to those weeks against North Korea. Christmas wish list for Thunder Down Under: a large sheet of wood. Maybe you can dress up the wood as a hockey player and then put it somewhere in front of the net. Not necessarily just to be the goalie, but to block some shots. The only team of all the skating categories to not have a win in a certain category is Thunder Down Under, and that's in blocks. 0 wins, 0-10 on the season for Thunder Down Under when it comes to blocks. Thunder Down Under needs to be better. Let's start with a large sheet of wood. Maybe Zdeno Chara will come back at a retirement too. You could always try that as well. Until then, we move on to 7th. It's the replacements. The replacements, last rank was also 7th. 6th in the standings right now, near 500 record, 4-5-1 head-to-head. Lost 7-4, again, to a strong Bettman Returns team. Won 6-5 over Thunder Down Under, though, like we had just said. Last 5, 2-2-1, respectable. The replacements have really started to come on here, showing that they're around middle of the pack pretty consistently. They're going to need to see what they can do to get themselves over the hump. Next 2 weeks, tough 2 weeks. Really key for the replacements here against Gretzky's All-Stars and Mr. Beninja Express. 2 teams just ahead of them in the standings in 4th and 5th. Big weeks for them. See if they can move up. Christmas wish list for the replacements. What I've been told is that they got a hold of It's Our Year's list, and they want that time machine redirected to them. But instead of going back into the past, they want to move forward to a time when Adam Fantilli is worth the second overall pick in the draft, and he's actually good. Which, you know, maybe you don't have to go that far in the forward, but you jump in that time machine, you come back, you get the good part of Fantilli, and maybe we'll see what you can do here to make a playoff spot and make a push once you're there. Into 6th, it is Mr. Beninja Express. Mr. Beninja Express, last rank was 5th. Record 55, 53, and 12, 4-5-1 head-to-head, and sitting 5th in the standings. Mr. Beninja Express has been holding pretty solid under the top 5 in these power rankings. They finally moved down, but that's more so because of a hard-charging team that you'll see in just a moment. They did win 7-4 against It's Our Year, and then another tie from SE Guarantee against them, 5-5 last week. Last five, they're 1-3-1, undefeated in 2. They've got Halifax Highlanders this week, and then the replacements. 2 weeks that Mr. Beninja Express has to try to win. The replacements, of course, we just went over. They're actually in 7th, not 6th, so don't be confused by that. Now, their Christmas wish list, you know, it's pretty simple. Timo Meyer literally just needs to do anything. Like dear God, he was doing all right early, but like, wow, has he been bad? No, seriously, go check. I'll wait. Okay, I won't actually, but he got injured for like 7 games, and since then he is literally 0 points. 0. That's not all. He has the 5th worst plus minus in the entire league. That literally the entire league. He is ahead of Philip Zadina and other donkey do players on absolute donkey do teams. Philip Zadina, like, what is he doing? This man is supposed to be a keeper? Absolutely not. He's not even an NHL player right now, let alone a keeper. Like, just unusable, man. I mean, you know, ever thought maybe the GM needs to be better? Hey, shut up. Who said that? Wait, why is everything I'm saying on this? What's going on here? Eggnog. I digress.
You making one of those videos again?
Oh, Jesus.
Why are you doing that when you can be spending time with her?
Oh, you know what? I really needed this. My special little present. How you doing, honey? Did you put a bow on her head?
She looks cute.
Just adorable.
Alright. Well, have fun.
So let me finish my video. Moving on, we got Messier Guarantee in 5th. Messier Guarantee, last rank was 6th. They swapped with Mr. Beninja. Despite the tie, they've been on a run. And a big win, 7-5 over Gritsky's All-Stars in Week 9, really cemented them moving up in these rankings. They're undefeated in their last 3 at 2-1-2. And they've got a big couple weeks coming up. Obviously against Curiosity Code Debrinka this week. And then Yaz again in Week 12. Currently 7th in the standings, 4-3-3 head-to-head. 3 ties on the season. That's crazy right now for Messier Guarantee. But their Christmas wish list, they're feeling very confident. Because what they want is trophy polish. That's right. Messier Guarantee finishing 1st in the league the last few seasons and winning last year. They're getting into winning form right now. They're doing very well after a slow start to the year. And they're starting to polish off the trophy. You know, they want to repeat, and there's good reason to think that they might have a case to do so now. So we're gonna see what happens with Messier Guarantee as we move forward. Moving on to 4th, it's Gritsky's All-Stars. falling out of the top 3 for the first time in a few rankings. A big part of that, 7-5 loss to Messier Guarantee last in week 9. They did follow it up with a 10-1 thumping, as we talked about earlier, to Halifax Highlanders. Their last 5, they're still 4-1. I mean, Grizzlies All Stars is still a very, very good team, but the top 3 have just been a little bit better. Next 2 weeks, they've got the replacements, and then a big matchup against Bettman Returns as we turn over the week and we start working our way back into restarting the schedule. Again, this schedule right now, it's 22 weeks. 22 weeks. That means everybody plays everybody twice. It works out perfectly that everybody's playing everybody twice. And the tiebreakers in the playoffs is head to head. So when you start turning over this schedule and you're going up against teams that you believe you might end up seeing in the playoffs, it becomes that much more vital for you to get these wins. The Christmas wish list for Gritzky's All-Stars. I happen to know about, how they last year tried to return their bridesmaid dress. Folks at Davis Brow, they said, absolutely not. You can't return that. It's used. It's been used for a couple years. You can't return this, sir. And Gritzky's All-Star said, absolutely, but I need to return it. Like, it's very important that I return this. They said, listen, sir, we know you're going to be back, so here's a store credit. It's fine. And right now, with where Gritzky's All-Stars is back, right near the middle of the pack, showing promise, but maybe not being elite, might be time to think about using that store credit for another bridesmaid's dress. We're gonna see what happens. Are you gonna be the bridesmaid again? Are you gonna be the bride? Moving on to 3rd in the rankings, it's return of Captain Thick Nick. Captain Thick Nick up from 4th, 7-3 head to head, and let's talk about it. Finally, somebody takes down the juggernaut that was Curiosity Killed Debrincat, giving them their first loss of the season. Return to Captain Thick Nick, winning 7-5. Obviously a big factor in them moving up in these rankings to 3rd. Should they be higher? Maybe, but the top 2 teams are still very, very strong. But 2 wins, 7-5 over Curiosity Killed Debrincat, then against Yaz, 4-1, won their last 3. They've got 2 easy matchups the next 2 weeks. A great opportunity for Return of Captain Thick Nick to move up from 3rd in the standings with trying to get the lopsided losses of the week 2 weeks in a row against North Korea, and it's our year. See if they can do it. Both of those teams have high hopes to try to move up themselves. But the Christmas wish list that I noticed is that Return to Captain Thick Nick wants a Vancouver Canucks themed ventilator. Now, why would they possibly want that? It's because they live and breathe on the Vancouver Canucks right now. If the Canucks are doing well, Return of Captain Thick will continue to do well. But if not, that ventilator, better hope it's working. Moving on to 2nd, Bettman Returns. Continuing to roll along here in 2nd place, 8-2 head-to-head, 2nd in the standings. Another strong 2 weeks. Consistency, 7-4 over the replacements, 7-4 over North Korea. They are last 5 are 5-0. They've won 6. So in a row. So aside from that little hiccup near the start of the season, Bettman Returns has been extremely good. Next 2 weeks against Thunder Down Under and Gritzky's All-Stars. I already talked about the Gritzky's All-Stars week especially. It's going to be a big week for them. And on their Christmas wish list, strangely enough, Bettman Returns wanted jiu-jitsu lessons from David Miller. Now, why would they possibly want jiu-jitsu lessons from this guy named David Miller? Well, maybe because they are by far the worst team in the league in terms of their record for hits. They got to be able to hit somebody. So maybe some jiu-jitsu lessons will teach them how to hit and hit well, and snag a few wins in that column. I do just want to acknowledge that I know jiu-jitsu is not about like hitting and stuff like that. I just thought it's good for the joke. Hope you appreciate it, Dave. All right. As we move on, it is first once again in the power rankings. Yes, they did lose, but it's Curiosity Killed Debrincat after the loss to Return of Captain Thicknick, rebounded with a big 8-3 win over It's Our Year. They continue to be significantly above the rest of the league in the standings. And, you know, maybe a one-off in that week to Return of Captain Thicknick. We'll see. But they proved that they are human. And we'll see what happens. I think they've got a very, very interesting matchup this week against a strong Messier Guarantee team. Going to be very interesting. Current first in the standings against a team that's used to being there. I think that's going to be a very, very good week. And then they've got Halifax Highlanders. First versus last in week 12. That should be a win for Curiosity Killed Debrincat. We're going to see what happens. And of course, just noticed on the Christmas wish list, it just said Patrick Sharp. Just Patrick Sharp. We'll leave it at that. So, as we look at the overall power rankings, for some reason, Halifax Highlanders, there they are. Curiosity Killed Debrincat in first, Bettman Returns in second, and third, rounding out the podium this week is Return of Captain Thicknick, moving back up there. Listen, everybody, thank you for supporting this. Thank you for being a part of this league. I hope all of you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that, and I will see you in the new year.